Welcome to Beyond the Rituals. This is episode 6 in our series, Exploring Hindu Death Traditions. Today, we are addressing practical questions about Hindu death rituals. 1. Does an elaborate, expensive ceremony benefit the departed soul more than a simple one? Answer: no authoritative Hindu text states that spending more money improves the soul's journey. The Bhagavad Gita specifically criticizes those who perform elaborate rituals hoping for specific results. What matters is sincerity and understanding, not cost or scale. Many saints have spoken against ostentatious ceremonies that burden families financially. 2. Is it true that if one family member doesn't participate in rituals, it affects the departed soul? Answer: this myth is often used to enforce conformity. Hindu philosophy teaches that each individual creates their own karma. The spiritual journey of the deceased cannot be harmed by another family member's sincere questions or different understanding. What's important is genuine feeling behind remembrance, not merely going through motions without understanding. 3. Are women prohibited from performing funeral rites? Answer: this patriarchal restriction has no basis in core Hindu philosophy. Nowhere in the Vedas, Upanishads, or Bhagavad Gita is it stated that women cannot perform funeral rites. These gender restrictions are cultural additions, not philosophical necessities. Many progressive Hindu communities now recognize women's full participation in funeral ceremonies. 4. Must the body be cremated within 24 hours, or the soul will suffer? Answer: while timely ceremonies are traditionally preferred, there's no philosophical basis for believing the soul's journey is fundamentally altered if practical circumstances require delay. The soul begins its journey at the moment of death according to the Upanishads, not at cremation. Modern circumstances often necessitate delays, and Hindu traditions have always allowed for practical adaptations. 5. If you miss any step in the 13-day ceremony, must you start over? Answer: this mechanistic view contradicts the spiritual essence of Hindu philosophy. Rituals have symbolic meaning, not magical power. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that understanding and intention matter more than precise external actions. Simplified ceremonies performed with understanding have more spiritual value than elaborate rituals performed without comprehension. 6. Do certain, inauspicious, deaths require special rituals? Answer: this belief has caused tremendous additional suffering to families already dealing with tragic losses. There's no philosophical basis for believing that accident victims, those who die by suicide, or those who die young are spiritually disadvantaged. The Katha Upanishad makes no such distinctions. What matters is the sum of one's life and karma, not the specific circumstances of death. 7. If I live abroad and cannot perform rituals at specific sacred locations, will this harm my ancestors? Answer: Hindu traditions have always recognized that circumstances may prevent ideal ritual performance. That's why texts offer alternatives for those living far from sacred sites. Sincere ceremonies performed locally have the same spiritual significance. The idea that ancestors' well-being depends on geography contradicts the understanding that the soul's journey follows karma, not physical location. 8. Is it true that if I miss annual Shraddha ceremonies, my ancestors will be hungry? Answer: this literal interpretation misunderstands the symbolic nature of these offerings. The soul, according to the Upanishads, is not a physical entity that experiences hunger. Annual remembrances have psychological and social value for the living and symbolic value for honoring the dead, but the literal belief that ancestors depend on physical offerings contradicts core philosophical teachings. 9. Can a son who lives abroad authorize another family member to perform rituals on his behalf? Answer: absolutely. Even traditional texts recognize the concept of pratinidhi, representative, allowing others to perform ceremonies when the primary person cannot. Hindu traditions have always incorporated practical accommodations. What matters is that remembrance occurs, not specifically who performs the ritual actions. Thus, if family members disagree about how rituals should be performed, will this negatively impact the departed? Answer: family conflicts about ritual details often cause more suffering than the issues themselves. From a philosophical perspective, the soul's journey follows its karma, not family disputes about ceremonies. When disagreements arise, focusing on the core purpose, honoring the departed with sincere intention, is more aligned with Hindu philosophy than insisting on particular ritual details.